My name's Robbie Bell. I come from North of Ireland, Ballymena. My disability is called Sherman's disease. It has a curvature of the spine. I've got chronic asthma. I'm deaf. I'm going deaf. Without my hearing aids, I wouldn't hear. And I've got diplopia, double vision. So I'm a walking disaster.
Well, my name's Mark Faulkner. I've been on the street about 9 years, on and off, in and out of hostels and all around the country. Sometimes when I have a fit and people see me on the floor and they just walk round me, you know, I'm unconscious, and they must be thinking like, oh, it's just an alcoholic, you know, and he's drunk and he's fallen on the floor, he's not worth helping. The actual fact is, I'm not an alcoholic, and it's a medical condition, it's not my fault.
Being on the streets, if you're not tough, you'll die. You have to be emotionally strong. We're meant to be a priority. That's rubbish. We're not a priority.
I think people can actually forget that people with a disability can become homeless. So what do you think of that magazine?
Yes.
So what do you think of my piece? I think sometimes it can be of one's own making, but in my case it certainly wasn't. I just had nowhere to live. That doesn't come down necessarily to money, but it comes down to knowledge and information and what resources you can tap into.
My name is Michael, and I work for The Big Issue. I've been working for them since last February.
Cheers.
I needed some money, and it has helped me out. It's given me back some self-respect.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Good luck, mate.
Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue.
What they did do was put me in various flats where I was very unsafe. It was basically just put somewhere and left.
London hasn't got the kind of properties that disabled people are looking for. You've either got 2 flights of stairs or a lift that doesn't work, or a ground floor flat where any Tom, Dick and Harry can just climb in through the window and take what they want. You know, it's like, so it's not ideal. Or unless it's a sheltered accommodation where you're the youngest by about 90 years. You know, no social life.
There's so many disabled people that are homeless. I mean, a lot of the people that are homeless and are on sickness benefit, I'll admit that's usually due to alcoholism, but that's a lot of the time from being on the street. I mean, you know, what else do they spend, you know, what else do they do?
I mean, I ended up homeless because I've not come from a traditional background, irrespective of the fact that I have a disability. I was the result of a one-night stand, and my mother put me in care at the age of 2 weeks old. My first cup of tea that I made was probably at the age of 16. I mean, there's a lot of damage there. Having a home was, I wasn't even thinking about it. I've come through it. I'm just making the best of what I've got. I mean, I've got something now. I don't know where they expected me to live. On the street.
But it looks nice.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's pasta today and some beans and vegetables.
You're more likely to be pregnant if you're in the care system. You're more likely to go to prison if you're in the care system. You're more likely to have either not many qualifications or no qualifications at all, and you're more likely to be homeless.
I first came to London when I was 17. I think it's the M6 or something like that. I hitched on the motorway all the way down to London. I knew nobody in London, knew nothing. And I slept in Kingsway for a good 4 months because basically there's soup runs around there. There's people who care around that area who come out at night and basically provide homeless people with the essentials. That may be a hot cup of soup. I can tell you it's worth it at 3 o'clock in the morning.
There's no reason to be cold really when you're homeless. There's so many, scarves and that going around what crisis give out, and I mean they come down in a van down the Strand every 2 weeks, and you can order what you want, not the make of the clothes, but you can order, what you need, and they'll give it to you the day after. Me myself, I've got used to the weather, and I mean I did just come out of hospital 2 days ago for pneumonia, but that was because I think my body had got too used to having a bed for the night, and that was why I got pneumonia. All of a sudden I'm out in the cold, and I got very worried when they said it was pneumonia, because I'm thinking like, well, people die from that.
Yeah, please.
What would you like?
Well, basically I've had all my stuff stolen all the night, blankets, I've sleeping bag and stuff like that stolen,
Right.
jumpers. So if you can give me something heavy.
Would you like a cup of tea while you're here as well?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'll just get that.
Where I sleep, it's not my pitch, not for begging or anything, it's just where I sleep. And because it's an ideal step, because it's on a slant, I mean, when the rain goes in, it goes straight back down onto the path again, so I don't get wet. As long as you've got cardboard underneath when you're sleeping as well, that is essential. I mean, I didn't realise that till about a few years ago, and I was freezing, and I started, I'm wondering why everyone's using cardboard, and I just couldn't believe that how it keeps you warm, but it does.
I was in hospital for 6 years, born with polio and club feet. The name of the boarding school was R10, run by Christian Brothers. I was put in there from the age of 6, didn't come out of there until I was 13 years of age. The majority of people that came out of R10 that I know of ended up in prison, drug addicts, or in mental institutions. I came to London in 1969, 69 I was, yeah. And I was 13 years of age, about 13 years of age. I was living in a hostel over here in Bemerton Street. When I lived here in the early 60s, 70s, this was a great city to live in. Not anymore, not anymore. No matter where you go in London, you'll always see somebody sleeping on the streets.
Bad news. It is. I mean, it's like totally different because I've been on the streets on and off near 20 years now. You know what I mean? Years ago it was different when you were on the streets. It was like a family. But nowadays, you know what I mean, it's like totally different. I mean, you're free to take your shoes off at night to get into your sleeping bag because they'll whip your shoes and sell them for a bit of crack cocaine, you know what I mean? And the ones that are disabled, they get it even more because there's a load of them. And a lot of psychiatric patients and that you see sitting on the streets as well. I mean, they're disabled as well.
It's quite for help, isn't it?
It is, and a lot of the hospitals and that shutting down, the people haven't anywhere to go. It's alright, you know what I mean, if you've got a bit of common sense about you, if you're on the streets and that. There's a lot of people who just come up straight and want to top you. And you don't have much choice no matter, especially if you have got a disability and people know that you've got that disability. They will try.
Take advantage of
it. Take you for everything. And that's the way it happens. If they can see that you've got a disability and like you can't stand up for yourself, they'll just come up to you and they'll just walk straight over the top of you, gaze your money, gaze this, gaze that, you know what I mean? You don't have a life if you let people do that to you. So you become hardened to it.
The street is not a safe place to sleep on, and all that. But when you've got nowhere else, you haven't got a choice. So you like try to see a friend or something, and maybe they can put you up. Or there's like people go to squats and just like stay there, maybe sleep on the floor. But at least it's warm. You have a roof, so when it rains, you don't get wet. I've slept on benches, corners, like in the street. It's not nice, but I haven't got a choice.
People have stopped and asked me, like, if you're on the street, how come you're so clean, you know? They expect you to be a tramp. If you're not a tramp, you know, then you're not a homeless person, you know? You're just one of these that's got somewhere to live and you're coming out just to make some money. But that's not true. And people have got to realise that. I've heard so many people talk about London, you know, life on the streets at the West End and that, and I've never been to London in my life. And I just had to come up to see what it was like, you know, to see if they were lying or see if it was true. And I came up, and this was the London Connection. This was the first place I came to. Because everyone knew about it, this was where everyone pointed me to. You know, it's true what people were saying, and it's just totally different from any other town or city, you know, in its own way. And when I leave, I keep saying I'm not coming back to London again, you know, but I always end up back here. And I mean, but it's more violent than anywhere else. There's, you know, there's more drugs going around than any other town or city that I've been to. And, well, there's just more of everything. I don't know, it's, you know, it's just the same as any other town or city, but it's more.
It's me again. I am so far from where I could have been. Dear God, I'm alright, you?
I'm alright, but I don't like the wind.
It's too cold, isn't it? You know that. Take care. Get your big issue. I'm a human being, you know? It's like, what makes you have the right to be fussy and not me? Yeah? Like, if I accept second best all the time, I'm not going to get anywhere, you know? So it's like, yeah, I push for what I want, yeah? I've been in situations where because I haven't kicked up a fuss, they've just thought, oh, he's all right, leave him alone, you know? You know, when I got burgled 5 times in one place. And because I wasn't going to them and ranting and raving, because I had no locks on my windows, they were like, okay, we'll leave it, you know? And it wasn't until I started shouting and giving them, hurling abuse at them that they actually turned around and said, okay, we'll send someone. And before I even got home, there was somebody standing on my doorstep waiting to get it done. Whereas when I was all meek and mild and like, yeah, we'll send him next week, you know?
I've got a roof over my head. It's the main thing. So I haven't got to keep moving about, because every time I move about a lot, it hurts my back. They have food, they have breakfast and dinner. There's about 36 residents there. And they've all got different causes, like to do with mental health or homelessness. For me, I've had a hard time living in hostels. I've been put in a hostel before and got assaulted, but I don't like to be hurt by people.
I feel I can't live on my own, you know. If I had a fit and fell on my back, that could be very dangerous, and basically I could choke, you know, I could choke. I went to the council and applied for a place, but I told them my situation, and I said I wanted a 2-bedroom flat that I could share with a friend because of my fit. And they ended up offering me a 1-bedroom one. That's all they'd give me. They said, we're not going to offer you anything else because we've offered you this. You'll either take it or, you know, go back on the street, basically. So I had to go back on the street.
Yeah, I work for an organisation at the moment which is called Street Life, and we do all we can. We help people that's in B&Bs. We give people advice on what day centres to go to. So you're talking about like people sleeping out there in the winter, you know, what heat have they got? Really no heat at all, except for body heat, maybe that bit of cardboard over them or that blanket over them. You know, so it isn't surprising why you see so many people dead when you know, some mornings and wake up dead beside you. I've actually seen that. I've actually seen people waking up dead. I've even actually seen people even in hostels coming out dead. It's not just on the streets, even from hostels too. Hello? Street Life? Oh, hello, Danny. How are you?
There's a pen there, Joe.
Living on the strands, you meet so many different characters, you know. Some of them, there's a lot of them actually have the same problem as me. They told me actually that they've been in hostels and they've been kicked and abused and this and that. And they just rather sleep on the streets and have their own little space and read a book or do what they have to do. Yeah, well, what we're basically doing is we're going to be going out at 3 o'clock in the morning and see how many homeless people are on the streets. Okay, will do. Take care. Bye.
I want to settle down, but through the life that I've led, you know, I just can't. I don't know why. I don't know, I'd love to have that chance and lead a normal life. And the epilepsy doesn't help either, and, you know, sometimes when I have epileptic fits and I fall on the floor, you know, I wake up and no one's phoned an ambulance or anything, they're just walking around me. And, you know, they just see me on the floor, they walk around me deliberately, you know, and then what they're probably thinking is that I'm just an alcoholic and I've just fallen on the floor drunk, you know, and I'm not worth helping. Even if I was an alcoholic and I was on the floor and, you know, drunk, I'm still a person. How long does it take to phone an ambulance? I mean, this is London, 90% of the people have got a mobile with them anyway, you know? 999. How long does it take?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Director of London Connection, which is a day centre just across the road. I'm just going to say a few words about my feelings on this day. 3 weeks ago, we got a phone call from Charing Cross Police to say that somebody we knew and loved very well, Mark Faulkner, had died. And it was like seeing a balloon burst. And the whole day became deflated.
So when I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head.
We remember with love and affirm the lives of those who died in the last year. Michael Agar, Stefano Alem-Seged, John Allen, Robert Andrews,
John Birani, Adam Bishop, Duncan Blake,
Winnie Collins, Anthony Colwell, Eric Connolly, George
Elizabeth Delaney, Barry Devine,
John Dunn, Robert Farrell, Mark Faulkner, Glenn Formina.
If she's watching anyway, she'll see me. If she is watching, then Mum, I love you. And, you know, and I hope you're all right.